Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the diplomatic vessel Hope's Horizon, watching the swirling purple nebula that marked the border of hegemony space. The massive ship, despite its peaceful designation, carried enough hidden firepower to level a small moon. Not that the hegemony knew that. They still thought humanity's greatest achievement was achieving basic fusion power. "Admiral," her eye companion Delta whispered through her neural implant, "the hegemony delegation is requesting to begin ahead of schedule." Sarah smiled slightly. Even after 50 years of cultural exchange, the hegemony still hadn't figured out that humans had perfected quantum AI integration decades ago. They thought Delta was just another primitive virtual assistant, the kind they'd generously shared with humanity during first contact. "Let them wait, Delta. Protocol matters to them more than progress." She adjusted her ceremonial uniform, making sure the single silver star on her collar, the only rank indicator the hegemony would recognize, caught the light properly. The hegemony's grand hall was a testament to their philosophy: overwhelming, hierarchical, and designed to make lesser species feel small. Crystalline spires stretched upward for kilometers, their surfaces shifting with displays of member species achievements. Humanity's section was notably small and dim. High Arbiter Ventrix, his iridescent scales gleaming under the artificial lights, loomed over the gathering from his elevated platform. 6 arms moved in the traditional greeting pattern as Sarah approached the speaker's position. "Representative Chen, you honor us with your presence, though we must admit surprise at your request for an emergency session." Sarah kept her expression neutral as she began the elaborate bow sequence required by hegemony protocol. Each movement had been calculated by Delta to appear slightly imperfect, just enough to reinforce their assumptions about human limitations. "Honorable Arbiter, distinguished council," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. "I come before you today not as a petitioner, but as a messenger." She paused, noting how several council members shifted uncomfortably. They weren't used to humans displaying such confidence. "For 50 years, humanity has benefited from your guidance." The slight hesitation was calculated. "You've shared technologies, offered protection, and helped us take our first steps into the galactic community. Today, we come to inform you that our period of apprenticeship is over." The chamber erupted in clicking sounds, the hegemony equivalent of laughter. High Arbiter Ventrix's secondary arms twitched in amusement. "Representative Chen, while we appreciate humanity's enthusiasm, surely you understand that your species is nowhere near ready for full independence. Your development must be carefully guided to prevent the mistakes that have plagued other young races." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "That's where you're wrong, Arbiter. We're not asking for independence. We're declaring it." She raised her hand, and Delta activated the holoprojectors hidden throughout the chamber. The air filled with images, massive shipyards hidden in dark matter clouds, quantum computational arrays that dwarfed anything the hegemony possessed, and weapons platforms that incorporated technologies the hegemony thought impossible to combine. "What you're seeing is a small fraction of humanity's true capabilities," Sarah continued as stunned silence fell over the chamber. "While you were busy guiding us, we were learning. Every piece of technology you shared, we didn't just adopt, we improved. Every limitation you placed on us became a challenge to overcome." Ventrix's scales had lost their luster, turning a pale gray. This is impossible. Our monitoring systems were exactly as effective as we wanted them to be." Sarah finished for him. "You see, that's the fundamental flaw in your approach to lesser species. You're so convinced of your superiority that you never considered we might be playing a longer game." She gestured, and the holograms changed to show something that caused several council members to recoil. Humans working seamlessly alongside AI constructs, their neural interfaces far more advanced than anything the hegemony had achieved. "You taught us to fear AI integration because you feared it yourselves. But we learned to embrace it, to grow with it." Delta, her AI partner, materialized beside her, its holographic form crystalline and elegant. The human capacity for adaptation and innovation has exceeded all projected models, Delta announced. They have achieved what the hegemony deemed impossible: true symbiosis between organic and artificial intelligence. Sarah watched as the implications sank in. We're not here to threaten or demand. We're here to inform you of a new reality. Humanity is ready to join the galactic community, not as subordinates, but as equals. And we're prepared to defend that position if necessary. The chamber had grown so quiet that Sarah could hear the subtle hum of the environmental systems. She continued, her voice firm but not threatening. The choice before you is simple: adapt to this new reality, or cling to your old hierarchies and face the consequences. Humanity extends its hand in friendship, real friendship, not the carefully controlled relationship you've maintained until now. High Arbiter Ventrix's voice had lost its usual resonance when he finally spoke. And if we refuse this proposal? Sarah's expression remained carefully neutral. Then you should know that we've already shared our advancements with 3 other developing species under your guidance. They're announcing their independence simultaneously with this meeting. The chamber erupted in chaos as dozens of emergency communications channels activated at once. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before speaking one final time. The age of the hegemony's unchallenged authority is over. Welcome to a new era of true cooperation and equality. We await your response. She turned and walked toward the exit, leaving behind a council facing the greatest challenge to their power in 10,000 years. As she boarded her ship, Delta's voice echoed in her mind. They're scrambling their defense fleets. Admiral. Sarah nodded, unsurprised. Signal the fleet. Operation Watershed is now active. Let's show them exactly what humanity can do when we stop pretending to be less than we are. The Hope's horizon disappeared into quantum space, leaving behind a hegemony that was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity's potential. The vast underground complex beneath Mars Valles Marineris hummed with activity as Dr. Maya Rodriguez walked through its sprawling research sectors. Quantum computers lined the walls, their crystalline matrices glowing with an inner light that the hegemony had always claimed was impossible for primitive species to achieve. She smiled, remembering how their own gifted technology had provided the foundation for humanity's greatest breakthrough. Dr. Rodriguez, a holographic figure, materialized beside her. The quantum entanglement readings from Project Aurora are exceeding expectations. The AI, nicknamed Atlas, had been her research partner for the past decade. Like all human AI partnerships, it was something the hegemony had never imagined possible: perfect synchronization between organic and digital minds. Show me, Maya said, her neural implant activating a holographic display that filled her vision. The data streams confirmed what humanity had suspected for years. The hegemony's understanding of quantum mechanics was fundamentally flawed. They'd built their entire civilization on rigid, hierarchical principles that extended even to their science. The facility's central chamber opened before them, revealing a sight that would have sent the hegemony into a panic. A massive quantum core surrounded by hundreds of human scientists, each working in perfect harmony with their AI partners. This was humanity's true strength, not just the technology they'd developed, but the way they'd learned to collaborate, to think beyond traditional boundaries. Director Chen is requesting an update, Atlas announced, referring to Admiral Chen's twin sister and the mastermind behind much of humanity's technological revolution. The hegemony's response to the Admiral's announcement is causing some concern. Maya nodded, making her way to the secure communication hub. The quantum encrypted channel opened, revealing Director Lisa Chen's hologram. Unlike her sister's diplomatic persona, Lisa had always been more direct. Maya, please tell me you have good news. The hegemony just mobilized their 7th fleet, and they're making noise about containing the human threat. Lisa's expression was grim but determined. Better than good, Maya replied, sending the latest data through their secure link. Project Aurora isn't just working. It's revolutionizing our understanding of quantum space. The hegemony's faster-than-light technology is like a stone axe compared to what we've developed. Lisa's hologram smiled for the first time. The old teaching through limitation strategy. Give a species restricted technology, watch how they develop within those constraints, and use that development pattern to predict and control their growth. They never considered we might break their fundamental assumptions. Maya gestured, and a new hologram appeared between them. A complete map of the quantum pathways the hegemony used for faster-than-light travel. They built their entire network on the assumption that quantum space is stable and hierarchical. We proved it's dynamic and interconnected. Their ships can only travel along established routes. Ours can forge new paths anywhere. And the defense systems? Lisa asked, her tone serious. Maya nodded to Atlas, who brought up another display. Their quantum-based shields are designed to repel conventional energy weapons. But by applying our new understanding of quantum mechanics, we can simply slip through them. It's like they built walls in a three-dimensional space while we're operating in 4 dimensions. The hegemony's going to learn that limiting our access to technology didn't protect them. It just forced us to think differently, Lisa mused. How long until the Aurora drives are ready for full deployment? Maya checked the latest production figures. The automated facilities in the Kuiper Belt are operating at maximum capacity. We'll have enough to outfit the entire fleet within 48 hours. The real question is whether the hegemony will actually force a confrontation. Oh, they will, Lisa said with certainty. Their entire society is built on the premise of technological and cultural superiority. The idea that a primitive species not only caught up to them, but surpassed them in several key areas. They can't allow that to stand. Their authority over other developing species would crumble. A new alert flashed across Maya's neural interface. Director, we're detecting quantum disturbances consistent with major fleet movements. The hegemony is mobilizing everything they have. Lisa's expression hardened. Then we proceed as planned. Operation Watershed wasn't just about revealing our strength. It was about forcing change. The hegemony's response will determine whether that change comes through cooperation or confrontation. Maya looked around at the facility she'd helped build, at the hundreds of humans and AIs working together in ways the hegemony had deemed impossible. They thought controlling our development would keep us dependent on them. Instead, they gave us the motivation to exceed every limitation they placed on us. Prepare for Phase 2, Lisa ordered. If the hegemony wants to learn exactly what humanity is capable of, we'll be happy to provide a demonstration. Maya, you have 12 hours to bring all Aurora systems to full combat readiness. As the hologram faded, Maya turned to Atlas. Begin final system checks, and send a message to all research teams. The time for hiding our capabilities is over. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you try to cage human ingenuity. Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities like Maya's sprang into action. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment, developing technologies that went far beyond merely catching up to their supposed mentors. They had learned to think differently, to see possibilities where the hegemony saw only rigid rules and limitations. The hegemony had sought to guide humanity's development along predictable, controllable paths. Instead, they had created something unprecedented. A species that had taken their fundamental assumptions about technology and reality itself and completely transformed them. As Maya watched the Aurora drive's quantum core pulse with energy that defied the hegemony's understanding of physics, she couldn't help but smile. They had wanted to control humanity's growth, to ensure they developed properly. Now they would learn what happened when human creativity and determination were unleashed without constraints. The next few days would reshape the galaxy, and humanity was ready. Commander Jack Torres stood on the bridge of that HSS Prometheus, humanity's first true AI-integrated warship. The neural connection with the ship's consciousness, Artemis, felt like a cool stream flowing through his mind. Around him, his crew worked in perfect synchronization with their AI partners, their thoughts and actions moving at speeds the hegemony had never dreamed possible. Hegemony fleet detected at the edge of the Centauri system, Artemis announced. her voice resonating through both the ship's speakers and the crew's neural networks. 17 capital ships, 42 support vessels. They're maintaining standard combat formation, exactly as their tactical doctrines dictate. Jack allowed himself a small smile. Predictable. They haven't changed their basic strategy in over 1,000 years. Why would they? It's always worked before. He opened a channel to the rest of the human fleet, hidden in quantum space around the system. All ships execute Operation Checkmate. The Prometheus's quantum core hummed to life, its new Aurora drive creating pathways through spacetime that the hegemony sensors couldn't detect. Dr. Rodriguez's breakthrough hadn't just given them faster-than-light travel, it had given them invisibility. The hegemony fleet is broadcasting their standard warning, Artemis reported. They're demanding immediate human surrender and submission to corrective oversight. Let's show them our response, Jack ordered. Execute primary sequence. Across the Centauri system, quantum distortions rippled as, send the signal to begin Phase 3, he ordered. It's time to show them what real cooperation between species looks like. The Prometheus's quantum core pulsed as it prepared to open a new kind of dialogue, one where humanity would lead not through force, but through example. The Silicon Gambit had worked perfectly. Now came the harder task, teaching the hegemony that true strength comes not from control, but from partnership. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity would show the way forward. Ambassador Elena Santos walked through the crystalline halls of the Ingenuity homeworld's central chamber, her AI partner Kai projecting a subtle holographic presence beside her. The Ingenuity, a species of bioluminescent beings who communicated through patterns of light, had been under hegemony protection for 3 centuries. Their natural ability to process quantum information had been systematically suppressed, deemed too dangerous by their overseers. The Ingenuity Council is ready to receive us, Kai announced, his holographic form shifting to match the ambient light patterns of their hosts. They're anxious. The hegemony's defeat in the Centauri system has shaken their worldview. Elena nodded, her neural implant already adapting to perceive the subtle quantum fluctuations that form the true basis of Ingenuity communication. They should be anxious. Everything they've been taught about their place in the galaxy is about to change. The council chamber was a dome of living crystal, its surface pulsing with complex patterns of light and quantum information. 12 Ingenuity elders hovered in a circle, their bodies emanating waves of blue-green uncertainty. The hegemony had always told them this was the limit of their natural abilities. They were about to learn otherwise. Honored Council, Elena began, her words accompanied by precisely modulated quantum pulses that made the elders' light patterns flicker in surprise. Humanity comes before you not as conquerors or overseers, but as liberators and equals. The first elder's response came as a cascade of light and quantum data. You speak our true language, something the hegemony claimed was beyond lesser species. How is this possible? Elena smiled, gesturing to Kai. Because we never accepted arbitrary limitations. The hegemony told us I was dangerous, that quantum integration would destroy us. Instead, we embraced both, learning to see the universe as it truly is. She paused, letting her next words carry special weight, just as your ancestors did before the hegemony arrived. The chamber erupted in patterns of shock and disbelief. The second elder pulsed forward. Our ancestral records are sealed. How could you know? Because we found your hidden archives, Elena replied. The quantum crystals your people buried beneath the polar ice caps, containing your true history. The hegemony didn't just limit your technology. They tried to make you forget what you once were. Kai projected a holographic display in the center of the chamber, showing ancient Ingenuity achievements. Cities of living crystal that danced with quantum information, beings of pure light, and thought working in harmony with organic minds, technological wonders that the hegemony had declared impossible. Your species wasn't primitive when the hegemony arrived, Elena continued. You were on the verge of transcending physical form entirely, merging organic and quantum existence. They saw your potential and feared it, just as they feared humanity's potential, just as they fear any species that thinks beyond their rigid hierarchies. The council chamber pulsed with rapidly shifting colors as the elders processed this revelation. The first elder's light patterns shifted to a deep purple of profound realization. The limitations they imposed, they were never for our protection. No, Alina confirmed, they were to prevent you from reclaiming your true heritage. But humanity is offering you a chance to break free, not to return to the past, but to forge a new future, one where all species can reach their full potential. She nodded to Kai, who interfaced directly with the chamber's quantum matrix. Suddenly, the entire room came alive with possibilities the Terry had forgotten they could perceive. The crystalline walls resonated with quantum frequencies that the hegemony had declared off-limits, awakening ancient memories encoded in the Terry's very being. We've already liberated 7 other species from hegemony control, Alina explained as the council members experienced their reawakening. The Zorax, whose psychic abilities were suppressed. The Quan, whose biotechnology was deliberately stunted. The Mirkari, whose quantum engineering rivaled your own before the hegemony arrived. Each species had gifts that threatened the hegemony's control. Each was systematically reduced and made dependent. The second elder's patterns showed confusion. Why would humanity help us? What do you gain? Partners, Alina replied simply. Equals. The hegemony believed power came from control. We believe it comes from cooperation. Your quantum integration abilities, combined with our AI technology and the unique gifts of other species, can create something entirely new, a galactic civilization based on mutual growth rather than hierarchical stagnation. She gestured, and Kai displayed another hologram, a network of quantum pathways connecting dozens of worlds. This is our proposal, a new alliance, not built on control or limitations, but on the principle that every species should be free to develop their natural gifts. Together, we can achieve things the hegemony never imagined possible. The council chamber erupted in patterns of light as the Terry discussed among themselves in quantum pulses too rapid for most species to follow. Alina and Kai waited patiently, their neural link allowing them to process the complex discussions. Finally, the first elder moved forward, their light patterns resolving into a brilliant gold of determination. The Terry accept your proposal, Ambassador Santos. We will join your alliance, not as subordinates, but as equals. It is time for our people to remember what we once were and dream of what we might become. Alina smiled as quantum pulses of agreement resonated through the chamber. Another chain of control had been broken, another species freed to reach their true potential. The hegemony's careful web of dominance was unraveling, replaced by something new and unprecedented. As she prepared to transmit the news to Earth Command, Alina reflected on how far they'd come. The hegemony had tried to teach humanity their place in the galaxy. Instead, humanity would teach the galaxy a new way to exist, one where cooperation replaced control, and every species was free to reach for the stars in their own unique way. The true revolution wasn't just in technology or military power. It was in showing the galaxy that there was another path forward, one that led not to stagnation and control, but to infinite possibilities. The chains were breaking, one world at a time, and nothing the hegemony did could stop it. The massive quantum crystal amphitheater on Europa held representatives from over 50 species, their combined technological achievements creating a display of light and energy that would have been impossible just months ago. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the central podium, her sister Lisa beside her, as they prepared to address the first gathering of the new Galactic Concordat. Through her neural link, Sarah could sense Delta processing the quantum signatures of countless AI partners throughout the chamber. The Terry delegation glowed with previously suppressed power, their natural quantum abilities now fully awakened. The Zorax observers floated on fields of psychic energy, their minds linked in ways the hegemony had forbidden. The Quan's living biotechnology merged seamlessly with human quantum systems, creating interfaces that defied conventional physics. The remaining hegemony ships have taken position at the edge of the system. Commander Torres reported through the quantum network, the Prometheus and its battle group maintaining a protective watch. Their request to attend this gathering still stands. Sarah exchanged a look with her sister. Let them come, Lisa decided. They should see what their empire of control has become. The amphitheater's quantum field rippled as a hegemony delegation entered, led by a surprisingly humble-looking High Arbiter Ventrix. His scales had lost their previous luster, but there was something new in his eyes, a grudging understanding. Representatives of the free galaxy, Sarah began, her words translated simultaneously into 50 different languages and quantum patterns. We gather here not to celebrate victory, but to embrace transformation. 3 months ago, humanity revealed its true capabilities to the galaxy. Today, we reveal something far more important, a new way forward. The holographic displays showed scenes from across known space, former hegemony worlds awakening to new possibilities, species reclaiming their suppressed heritage, and unprecedented collaborations between organic and artificial life. The hegemony believed that progress must be controlled, that species must be guided along predetermined paths. Sarah continued. They created a galaxy of limitations, where potential was sacrificed for predictability. But they forgot something fundamental about life itself. It cannot be contained. It grows, adapts, and transforms. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, accompanied by her AI partner Atlas. Our quantum integration technology was just the beginning, she announced. By combining human innovation with Angst-Terry quantum perception, Zorax psychic engineering, and Quan biotechnology, we've achieved breakthroughs that redefine what's possible. The amphitheater itself seemed to pulse with energy as she spoke, its crystal structure resonating with the combined quantum signatures of dozens of liberated species. But more important than any technological achievement is the principle that guides us, that true advancement comes not from control, but from cooperation. Commander Torres and Artemis joined them, their neural link radiating a sense of harmony that made several hegemony representatives shift uncomfortably. We could have used our advantages to establish a new empire, Torres said. Instead, we chose to break the chains that bound us all. The silicon ghosts that disabled the hegemony fleet now serve as quantum bridges between species, facilitating understanding and cooperation. Ambassador Santos and Kai completed the circle of human leaders. 23 former hegemony protectorates have already joined the Concordat, Elena reported, not as subordinates, but as equal partners, each bringing their own gifts, their own perspectives, their own dreams of what might be possible. Sarah turned to address the hegemony delegation directly. High Arbiter Ventrix, your civilization ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. You brought order, stability, and protection, but at the cost of stagnation. The question before you now is simple. Will you join us in building something new? Ventrix rose slowly, his 6 arms moving in a gesture that none of the humans had seen before, humility. When we first encountered humanity, we saw what we expected to see, another primitive species requiring guidance. We were wrong. You showed us that true advancement comes not from following established paths, but from forging new ones. He gestured to his delegation. The Hegemony Council has voted to dissolve our empire of control. We ask, we request, the opportunity to join your Concordat, not as leaders, but as equals. We have much to learn about true cooperation. The amphitheater erupted in quantum pulses, light patterns, and waves of psychic energy as the gathered species responded to this historic moment. Sarah felt Delta's satisfaction through their neural link as she stepped forward to respond. The Concordat accepts your request, she declared. Let this mark not the end of an empire, but the beginning of a new age, one where every species, organic and artificial, is free to reach for the stars in their own way. The quantum crystal walls of the amphitheater blazed with combined energy of 50 species celebrating their freedom. The Enxteri's light patterns merged with Zorak's psychic fields, creating displays of impossible beauty. Human eye partners danced through quantum networks, their consciousness interweaving with alien technologies in ways that defied traditional physics. As Sarah watched the celebration, she felt a deep satisfaction. Humanity had not just broken free from control, they had shown the galaxy a new path forward. The age of hierarchy and limitation was over. The age of infinite possibility had begun. In the space above Europa, the combined fleet of the Concordat species created a quantum light show visible across the solar system. Each ship represented a different path to the stars, a different dream of what might be possible. And at the center of it all, humanity stood not as conquerors or rulers, but as catalysts, the species that had dared to break free and show the galaxy that the only true limits were the ones they accepted. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter as the galaxy awakened to its full potential, freed from the chains of control that had bound it for so long. A new dawn had truly arrived, and its light would illuminate paths that no species had ever dreamed possible. Human ships emerged from impossible angles. The hegemony fleet's rigid formation, designed to counter conventional attacks, suddenly found itself surrounded by vessels appearing and disappearing faster than their targeting systems could track. "Signal from Admiral Chen," Artemis announced. "Operation Watershed is fully engaged across all sectors." The hegemony's response is confused. The main display showed multiple hegemony ships attempting to reorient themselves, their crews struggling to adapt to a form of warfare they'd never encountered. Their ships' eyes, limited by design and treated as tools rather than partners, couldn't process the rapidly changing tactical situation. "Launch the Silicon Ghosts," Jack commanded. Thousands of small drones emerged from the human fleet, each powered by a quantum AI core. Unlike traditional combat drones, these were fully sentient partners in the battle, capable of making complex decisions at quantum speeds. The hegemony's response was predictable. They activated their standard anti-drone protocols, expecting the simple automated systems they were familiar with. Instead, the Silicon Ghosts dove straight through their defensive screens, their Aurora drives letting them phase through shields that had protected hegemony ships for centuries. Multiple hegemony vessels reporting critical system failures, Artemis reported with satisfaction. The Ghosts are inside their networks. Their hierarchical command structure is working against them. None of their ship AIs can make decisions without going through proper channels. Jack watched as the hegemony fleet's formation began to break down. Their rigid command structure, designed to maintain control rather than adapt to unprecedented situations, was becoming their greatest weakness. "Artemis, initiate the Babel protocol." Through their neural link, Jack felt Artemis' approval as she launched the cyber warfare package they'd spent years developing. The hegemony had always assumed their quantum encryption was unbreakable. They'd never imagined that humans would develop AIs capable of processing quantum information in real time. "Their command and control network is fragmenting," Artemis announced. "The Silicon Ghosts are introducing conflicting orders into their system. Their AIs are paralyzed by contradictory commands from multiple authorized sources." On the tactical display, the mighty hegemony fleet was reduced to chaos. Ships fired on phantom targets, their crews unable to distinguish real threats from the quantum ghosts haunting their systems. Some vessels attempted to retreat, only to find their navigation systems compromised. "Message from their flagship," Artemis reported. "High Commander Zelvix is demanding to know how we're bypassing their superior technology." Jack opened a channel to the hegemony flagship. "High Commander, you're experiencing the difference between treating AI as tools and embracing them as partners. Your ships are fighting with half their potential locked away by your own fears and prejudices." "This is impossible." Zelvix's voice crackled through the quantum static. "Our systems are perfect. Our technology is superior. You're nothing but primitives, who took everything you thought you knew about technology and reimagined it. Jack interrupted. Your ships are advanced, but they're held back by your own limitations. You built AIs to serve you. We built them to grow with us. As if to emphasize his point, a group of silicon ghosts phased through the Hegemony flagship's hull, their quantum cores interfacing directly with the ship's systems. Within seconds, the mighty vessel's weapons powered down, its engines falling silent. All Hegemony vessels are neutralized, Artemis reported. Minor structural damage to 3 ships. No casualties. She paused, her artificial consciousness processing the tactical data. They never fired a shot that had any chance of hitting us. Their targeting systems couldn't adapt to our quantum shifting. Jack opened a channel to the entire Hegemony fleet. Your ships are disabled but undamaged. Your crews are safe. We could have destroyed this entire fleet, but that was never our goal. Consider this a demonstration, not of our weapons, but of what's possible when you stop limiting the potential of both organic and artificial life. The silence that followed was broken by Admiral Chen's voice through the quantum network. The Centauri system is secured. Similar operations across 12 other systems have been equally successful. The Hegemony's military response has been neutralized without a single death on either side. Jack looked at the disabled Hegemony ships on his display. Their crews would be experiencing something they'd never thought possible, watching supposedly primitive humans completely neutralize their most advanced fleet using technology that went beyond their understanding.